body's gonna want to lean sideways. Let it lean sideways. You want to protect the shoulder. Okay. Don't turn your body. Here. Yes. Now bring it up, over, and around your head. Out and around. Okay. This is gonna teach you that movement. All right. So bring that hand back again. The body's gonna want to lean, and let it lean. You want to protect the shoulder. Protect the shoulder.
What is it about Kung Fu that you like so much?
That's another strange story.
I mean, do you like it?
I love the Chinese martial arts. For some reason that it always attracted me. And my mother, of course, used to always say when I was a baby sleeping that she heard me speaking in my sleep and it didn't sound like English. And my father, who worked in the post office with many Asian people, said that sounds like Chinese. I had no idea. And later on I found out that I have an ancestor who traveled to Cuba that was Chinese. My great-great-great-grandfather's Chinese.
So maybe you're channeling.
For some reason it attracted me.
Wow.
You know, and I like the whole thing that I didn't have to use it to hurt people. I could actually use it for everything else in my life, not just a martial art. I can use it as an art form, period. Movement. It helped me in everything else I ever did.
Well, see, that's interesting because my next question is Kung Fu training like what you see in the movies? Because a lot of us started training in Kung Fu because we watched these movies and then we were like, yes, I want, the 36 chamber.
Yeah.
So how different is real life training versus what you see in the movies?
Real life training takes a lot longer than what you see in the movies. In the movies, visually, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Their time-wise is maybe 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Real life, it's years. And that's the real difference in the actual training. The training is similar in some of the exercises, but not as extreme because they have to make it extreme for the movies.
Sure.
You know, I mean, some of the things they do in some of those movies were just ridiculous.
Right.
But if you tone it down, you'll see some of those things in other ways in your training.
The arts are rigorous. Certain systems are very rigorous. You talked about running in the street with no shoes on. And what is the most or has been the most difficult aspect of training for you?
Okay, with me, because I have a lung capacity that's less than normal.
Okay.
An illness that I had when I was a child.
Okay.
It was running the stairs after school. We used to run the stairs, and it's 12 flights. Each floor is it's actually 12 floors, 2 flights of floors, so it's basically 24 flights. We run it 4 times, then come in and start the workout. That was the hardest part.
Wow. Did you ever think about quitting?
I loved it so much that it was the opposite. I would wake up, my class was at 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning. I'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was desperate, and I would walk from my house to the schools, which is like maybe, 60 blocks, only because I had to kill that time. So when I got there, the class started, because that's how desperate I was to learn, because I loved it so much.
That's wonderful. There's very few people who find something that is that passionate, that gives them that pleasure in life. And I know there's so many things that the art gives back. So that's a blessing. That's a huge blessing. Do you ever get bored with training?
No, because there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to learn or someone else to learn from, like I've learned from you.
Thank you. I've done the same here. Fitness, we're both fitness teachers. We both have students. And we're also connected to the greater fitness world, magazines, TV, and what have you. And it's something that they talk about being bored with a routine. I know teachers who talk about I was on the phone the other day with an instructor who is actually bored with what they're doing. And I personally have never had boredom in what I do. I've always been fascinated with it. There's always just been another door that opened that made me, I think now, after having done it for 30 some odd years, I'm even more curious and more excited about it when I began, because I'm getting deeper into the mystery. So, do you have any advice for people who may be bored with what they're doing?
Funny, for me, whenever
Can you even identify with it?
I identify it because I've had moments where I felt like what's the next chapter of my life? What am I going to do now? How am I going to train? And very simply, I'll go watch a movie. And even though it might be totally fiction, it'll open up my mind. And all I need is just that spark, and I'm back in. It could be as easy as a movie, or as easy as seeing a new person that I train that has a certain problem with something, and I have to figure out what movement's going to help them. Boom, the spark happens, I'm there. So that's the way I work. Everybody's going to be different on how they're going to open up.
Sure.
But you have to have an open mind. Once you close it, you're stuck in that line, and it's hard to break out after a long time. You have to be able to just go and go do something else. Even if it means go out there and train somebody in the street, like right in the park. Do some techniques in the park. It's totally different.
I love training people outside.
Exactly.
I love being outside, period. Anyway, as you know, I being in mountains, wherever I can be is outside. I don't care what time year it is. I enjoy it. I think that also brings something. Training in the nature brings a whole different level to it.
Yes, it takes away all the lines and squares of a room.
Yes.
And it makes it open.
Yes.
Animals look at you, and you look at the animals in the middle of a form. It's a totally different experience.
And the terrain itself offers a different kind of challenge. How do you balance it all? I know you have a family. I know you have to work, make a living, even though you are teaching also for a living. But when do you get time to practice?
It's hard. I have a chance to practice here at Fitness Results.
Okay.
I do practice at home because my son is now 15. So he's starting to learn the system. So it gives me a chance now to practice while he's practicing.
Yes, you're mini-me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
See, he's 15.
I'm convinced that he is cloned. Wink, wink. He says it's his son, but I'm not sure. I think he's cloned.
But that's my inspiration now to work out is basically that, and have the ability to actually work with him. So now it gives me a chance to work myself out too. So my work doesn't have to be as hard anymore. His has to be, but I can still get a workout in.
What are your personal fitness goals? Do you as you've been doing this for a very long time, and so your perspective on it is a lot different than somebody who's beginning. But what do you?
It's funny. My goals for me, I've reached all the stuff that I want to do. Now I want to be able to teach what I have to as many people as I can, and not so much the fighting arts as the movement, and get them to move a certain way, and get them to move more relaxed and more controlled and more, I guess, balanced with themselves. That is what my motivation is. I get people to actually do that. Once I see somebody walking and I see a little problem, I want to see if I can fix it.
And it's funny you say the movement, because that is something that I become more and more fascinated about, the actual harmony of movement, not just with myself and my own skeleton, but with the environment. Car door opening, even walking through a room. I always say that when you really get this stuff, when you're in the kitchen, when you're cooking, you're using it. You're opening jars when you're moving, and it becomes like this entire world. It's like the world becomes a giant playpen. And people think that we're really working for a living, but we're just playing in the covert playing. Because the way you move makes everything like this giant game.
My teachers always said, even something as simple as stepping in our system is the most important thing in martial arts. Just the movement. Because if you can move, you can get behind the person, you can get in front of the person, you get under the person, over the person. It's all about movement. If you can't move, you're just a target.
Sure.
And that happens in everything in life. You don't want to stay still for too long.
This is very true. Well, thank you for the words of wisdom. I would love for you to show us a little bit of what you do so that people can see what an incredible mover you are, and inspire people who need to see something that will maybe get them to get up a little bit earlier. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
This is the other side. It's a different form.